Chapter 1. Welcome to Punxsutawney. Phil Connors, a self-centered, sarcastic weatherman for a Pittsburgh news station, is sent to cover the annual Groundhog Day festivities in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Accompanied by his cheerful producer, Rita, and a cameraman named Larry, Phil treats the assignment with disdain. He finds the whole celebration trivial and beneath his talents, hoping to get it over with as soon as possible. On the eve of February 2nd, the group arrives in the small town and checks into a quaint bed and breakfast. Phil makes it clear he is eager to leave after the groundhog's prediction, confident that Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, will bring little more than superstition to the table. Rita, ever the optimist, is excited about the experience, but Phil's mood is sour. Chapter 2. The Endless February 2nd. Phil wakes up the next morning to the sound of Sonny and Cher's "I Got You Babe" playing on the radio. It's February 2nd, Groundhog Day. He begrudgingly heads out to cover the ceremony, mocking both the event and the town's traditions. The festivities go as planned, and Punxsutawney Phil predicts 6 more weeks of winter. As the day progresses, Phil's annoyance grows, but eventually the job is done, and the team prepares to leave town. However, a fierce blizzard, which Phil had wrongly forecast to miss the area, forces them to stay another night. Phil goes to bed irritated, convinced the day was a waste. Chapter 3. Déjà Vu. When Phil wakes up the next morning, the same song is playing on the radio. Confused, he notices the events of the previous day repeating exactly. The same people say the same things, and it's once again Groundhog Day. At first, Phil assumes it's a bizarre coincidence, but as the day progresses, he realizes that he's stuck in a time loop. No matter what he does, every morning is February 2nd all over again. Baffled and frustrated, Phil begins experimenting, trying to understand what's happening. He pushes people, changes his routine, and even confronts strangers, but nothing changes. As soon as he sleeps, he wakes up to the same song, in the same bed, on the same day. Chapter 4. Embracing Chaos. Phil soon realizes that no matter what he does, there are no lasting consequences. This revelation leads him to indulge in reckless behavior, eating to excess, driving dangerously, and even robbing an armored truck. He enjoys the freedom of knowing that nothing matters because tomorrow will never come. He also attempts to win over Rita, whom he finds attractive. Using the repetition of the day, he gathers information about her likes and dislikes, crafting the perfect interaction. However, no matter how much he manipulates the day, Rita rejects him, sensing that his efforts are insincere and selfish. Chapter 5. Despair. After countless repetitions, Phil falls into a deep despair. He becomes convinced that he is doomed to live the same day forever, and that nothing he does will ever change the outcome. Phil tries to break the cycle by ending his own life in a variety of ways, but each time, he wakes up again in the same bed on the same morning. This relentless cycle of futility wears on him, and he confides in Rita, revealing his bizarre situation to her. Despite her disbelief, she listens with compassion, giving Phil a small sense of relief, though it does not change his predicament. Chapter 6. Transformation. As time stretches on, Phil begins to reflect on his life and the person he has become. Instead of indulging in selfish desires, he starts using his endless day to better himself. He learns to play the piano, ice sculpt, and speak French. He also starts helping the townspeople, saving a boy who falls from a tree, fixing a flat tire for some elderly women, and performing the Heimlich maneuver on a choking diner customer. Phil's transformation extends to his relationships as well. He begins to show genuine kindness and interest in others, particularly Rita. He stops trying to manipulate her and instead focuses on becoming a better person for his own sake. Chapter 7. Breaking the Loop. After many iterations of the same day, Phil has completely changed his approach to life. He's no longer cynical or self-centered. Instead, he becomes a beloved figure in the town, known for his helpfulness and generosity. He attends the Groundhog Day festival with a new attitude, genuinely enjoying the event and the people around him. Phil's interactions with Rita also shift, and she starts to see the change in him. By the end of the day, they spend the evening together, and Rita is genuinely charmed by his warmth and sincerity. As the night draws to a close, Phil feels at peace, accepting the day for what it is. Chapter 8. A New Day. For the first time in what seems like an eternity, Phil wakes up to a different song on the radio. It's February 3rd. The time loop is broken. Phil is ecstatic, but also deeply changed by the experience. He no longer sees life as something to be manipulated or rushed through. Instead, he values each moment and the connections he has with others. As he and Rita walk through the town, Phil expresses his desire to stay in Punxsutawney. He's no longer eager to escape. The man who once scoffed at the town and its people is now ready to embrace them and his new life with open arms. And so, Phil Connors emerges from the endless repetition of Groundhog Day as a changed man, having learned that the key to happiness lies not in controlling the world around him, but in changing himself.